All right, I think we are live. Guys, let me know if you see me, if everything is good, and we can start. But should be good. I can see the chat on my phone. All right, yep, everything is good. So let's dig right in with Bitcoin. And by the way, I have some trades planned out. I mean, I have an alert for now. But I'm looking at this short trade on hype. Just warning you, because if it does happen, I am gonna take it. Oof. I'm not really liking Microsoft, by the way. I did take a long trade yesterday. You can see it here. No, you can see it here. I mean, very small loss. But let's see. This definitely needs to hold. If not, I'll probably get out. Anyways, back to back to hype first, right here. I was looking at where was my analysis? What the hell? I know, I guess it was a simple grab of liquidity, because I was looking at this as a range right here, range low, faked out, range high. Would be nice to take this, trade back below, but I'm gonna do some more analysis to see, because we do have these highs here. So I need to do a little bit more of a check. But for a quick intraday scalp could be nice, because also on Bitcoin we have that's where it was. On Bitcoin we could also have a small trade here on this lower time frame range. As you can see, we have ti vediamo e sentiamo. Top. We have this range here. I mean, we could consider this, I would say. Very small range, fake out, and we've been just ranging, and we just took this bit of liquidity again. I'm guessing this was once again on the 6-6. Indeed it was. That was perfect, actually. During market open, that's good. So took the liquidity to the downside, and so I'm expecting at least for a move to the range high. We can check the reaction here, and we could take a scalp short right here. And then I was lining this up with hype, which also is in this range, as I was saying. And so I set an alert right here, and we could get, for example, is this short or long? If we get the right reaction, we could look for something like this, which would give us a really good risk to reward. Of course, we gotta wait first for the grab of liquidity and then take the short. Your sound could be amplified. Okay, I think I'm just not speaking loud enough, so I'm gonna try to speak a little bit louder, and if it still doesn't work, I will see the settings, but I think it's because I was speaking a bit low. Okay, anyways, so I'm setting an alert right here. Also, we have the retest of this value area high. This is messy, hold on. And then we'll cover what happened yesterday. But yeah, so we have retest right here. Oh, now this shifted. Interesting. That changes things a little bit. Let me check again. It's because of the market open. Okay. I mean, yeah, now we can keep it like this for now, see how it reacts. Again, it's not my preferred thing. It would only be a scalp for sure. We can see what happens. We can monitor the order flow as well, and then see what we can do here. But let's see. For now, this is our interesting area for the range. Break out of the range, then we can look at this, where there's the new value area high. we can see if we simply grab the liquidity and go down, because as you have seen, if you've been on the live and market opens, typically this is where we take liquidity on either side and then either dump. For example, we either take the liquidity up and dump here, and we put in the high during the stock market open, or for example, we take this high and then drop. And yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be looking at. Even though obviously for my bigger short trades, I'm still looking at 96 as the target. So that remains the key point to look at. Also yesterday we had a really good long trade. I traded it on 2 accounts actually. One account was this, where I had like 2,000 and I made $500. You can see it, position history. This was my trade, $500. And that was buying the lows and selling the highs. I actually got stopped out on this one because I was trailing it. So I have moved up my stop loss to here, and it got me out before the big pump. So that probably could have been another 1K, I'm guessing, of profit. Yeah, because it went all the way to 93. So that, unfortunate. But I did keep the trade open on BitGet, where I actually started this account yesterday live with 3,000, and we are at $4,000. So that's good. All right, and as you can see, we bought the exact low. And what I was explaining was that I was simply looking at this triangle that we had right here, right? We had been pretty much trading in this big triangle since the 14th of November. It's now the 12th of December. So for about a month, we were trading like this with restrictive price action. And so I was simply waiting for another test of the low of the triangle. Very small fake out on the lower time frame. I mean, very, very small. But what was good was that we had front run my level that I was looking at, which was this daily level, lining up with the value area low. And actually, at first, I thought that it was not touched. But when you zoom in, I mean, it wasn't touched by like 0.1. So I would consider this basically as a touch. So anyways, I was already long from here, actually. And then it was kind of stupid of me to not keep some. I always say to do this. I always say keep your invalidation like a little bit lower, because Bitcoin is the typical asset that comes back down, takes the liquidity, and then reverses. So in one position, I got stopped out, and it was just stupid because I was literally saying it live. I was saying, oh, what the hell? I just see my video is so bad. Is it better if I go like this? Let's see, hold on. Okay, much better, but there we go. Okay, let me put this a little bit up. There we go. Now we're talking. So yeah, anyways, I was saying that that's the level. We front run it. We are probably gonna see another move down. And that's exactly what happened. We put in a range, and at market open, so yesterday at New York open, so it was 3:30, we had the move down, tapped the value area low, basically tapped the daily, got back above, and that was the entry to go long. And that is exactly where we went long. As you can see, the entry here was at 89,526. And from there, we had a massive run. And I was telling you last night, the next target was going to be 92.4 at the time. Now it's 92.6 because these values change. And yeah, that would have been at the top a 1-to-15 trade. That means you can risk $200 and you would have made $3,000. Obviously, that is if you didn't take profit along the way. But yeah, pretty insane trade. And also at the same time, I was low from, if you remember, the retest of this anchor VWAP. So I was in an optimal position to take also the long trade because I was not afraid to, I was protected by my short. So there was no problem opening another long trade here, because if we failed, I would have kept making money on the short, which by the way, I did close. So, oops, on my Bybit account here, I no longer have no, this is the wrong account. What the fuck? I have too many accounts. No. I think it was here. No, it was this. But why do I have money on this? Anyways, I don't know. I had a short trade here. There it is. I closed it for 1.2k. And I'm completely out of this one. And where did I close it? I closed at 91 point something. I think at 92 I closed it. And we did go to 93.6. So I don't have any short trades at the moment, which is not the best option, because if we are to drop from here, then obviously we're not protected. But it's whatever. Honestly, looking back, this could have been a nice short trade as well. It was simply another retest of the triangle. And by the way, I do think that eventually, once we break out of this triangle, there's going to be a big move, either to the upside or to the downside. So we can take this as a target. Let's get rid of this. Let's make this simple. This one's important. Let's remove this one. Okay, once we break out of this triangle, we can look at much deeper targets. What is all this mess? By taking, I'm gonna do it from here. And if we break to the upside, we would go towards 110 technically. And this is how you take triangle targets. It doesn't mean that they need to be perfectly respected. But there is a scenario where we go towards 115. I've covered this in the past. And if we break to the downside, this would bring us to pretty much that level that I've been giving for a while. So 79 to 77. And that would be nice. So for me, my preferred scenario, I mean, not for my portfolio since I do have some spot positions, but the best thing here would be to go and break this triangle, reject at 96 to 97, right? Have the fake out of the triangle, so that means we go back inside it, and then we break to the downside towards that $77,000 target. And then from there, we can take a bigger swing trade, especially if we go and do a failed auction at this low, right? So if then we bounce nicely here, for example, typical setup where we start ranging, we SFP, get back above this low, then you have a massive failed auction, and then we can look at something like this. I mean, either we get the entry already from here. So for how I trade, I would already be long from here to target, for example, 105 or 110, perhaps even a new all-time high eventually. But I'm just not going to be looking at that already. It's too early. But let's say like 105, for example. And then we would have this really, really nice long trade, right? Obviously, if you wait for the lows to be put in, you would have a later entry with obviously a much better probability of it playing out. If you take it here, it's way more risky, but you also get pretty much double the risk to reward. So this would be nice, and this would also really be nice. If we can catch a short trade like this, I'm gonna go pretty heavy, especially if we fake out the triangle. I might add on to the short trade. So you can do two different things. You can wait for the price to break out and see the reaction here. And you don't have to take a short trade here, because obviously if we flip this level or if we go through it, we're gonna move up to 105 pretty quickly, because there's really nothing in between here. There's no resistance whatsoever. So if we flip this level, we're gonna move very, very quickly. So taking the short right here at 96 to 97 is some risky business. You can do it, but you might get stopped out. But if instead you want to be more cautious, you can wait for this move, and on weakness, by the time you get back into the triangle and retest it, for example, you have the change in market structure, you've put in a good high, and you can look at something like this, with the stop loss wherever the wick is going to be. And if we do break down from there, which becomes more likely if once we fake out the triangle, then you still get a 1 to 3. Of course, it's much better to, for example, lock in a 1 to 10 than a 1 to 3 if this is where we put in the wick. So it's two different styles of trading. Again, like you might like need to take 3 positions before it actually works out. For example, on the first one, you get stopped out for, let's say, I don't know, $300, right? Then it wicks again and it rejects. You have another trigger to go short. You take it again, always targeting down here. And then once again, you lose 300 right here. But then perhaps the last time where it goes and takes the liquidity, stops you out here, and then closes back above, and you do once again have the trigger for a short trade. Well, this time perhaps it works out. Let's keep the 1 to 10 that we were saying before. This time, even if it's not a 1 to 10, let's say it's a 1 to 7, whatever. This time your 300, technically if you hold until the target, is gonna turn into 1.8K. So you've made this back, you've made this back, and you walk out with 1,200 of profit, right? So it really depends a lot on risk management and your positioning. Of course, at first you risk 1K, and then you get scared, and so you want to make this 1K back that you lost, and so this time you risk 2K, and then you get stopped out here again, and so this time you're like, oh no, I'm probably gonna get stopped again. This time I'm gonna risk $300. Then of course you understand how you're not gonna make those 2 losses back. So you need consistency, you need proper risk management, and even if you get stopped out 2 or 3 times before your trade actually goes through, you can make your money. Like you can still be profitable. That's why, for example, you can still be profitable with a 30% win rate or even a 20% win rate if you have the right risk to reward. So it's pretty much all about risk to reward, to be honest. You don't even need like a strategy. Like, to be honest, if you wanted to, you could have like a coin flip, which would be like 50-50, right? So technically in the long term, your not your risk to reward, but like let's say you plan out your levels, right? And you flip a coin and you take the trade based on the outcome of the coin. So technically, in the long run, you have like a 50% win rate, let's say, or like 50% of the time you're right, 50% you're not. In the long run, if you have more than a 1 to 2 risk to reward, you're profitable. So it's really all about how you go about that. Sorry, Fed, could you take a look at Inge, please? I'm in a long trade on it. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take a look in a second. Do you think we can make a fake out in the box of swing long and then go to 96? Yeah, of course, that's the other option. And also I would like that more if, for example, so let me give you a different context. And then I'm gonna look at Inge. If, for example, we now leave all this liquidity up here, right? Where is it? All of this here, like this. And first we make a move down, go to my swing long box, and then we make the fake out. Then yeah, perhaps it's more probable that we push through this level. But if first we take this liquidity, then I feel like this has less probability of holding. Can it go like this and still hold? Of course. It's not gonna look as good in my opinion. So for a more bullish perspective, I would like to first take the 86 and then go. Because also we have poor lows right here, by the way. So you can see this on the TPO. Let's open this up. Let me show you. We have poor lows right here. This technically needs to be revisited. And I've explained this many times on the TPO, when you have no excess at the lows. So right here, you can see only one letter, only the A, and there's no more than 2 or 3 boxes. These are considered poor lows, which means there's liquidity and you need to, the auction was not completed, and typically you go and revisit. This is what a good low would look like. Something like this, you see, 1, 2, 3, 4 letters that are alone. Or for example, you see, like for example here, this was a poor low. In the session after, we went and recovered that low. We took it out right here, and we left excess. Now this is a finished low, and from there you can move up. Here this is finished low. This low was not finished, as you can see, no excess. We went and took it out one more time. This low was okay, right? No need to revisit this. The problem is that at the very bottom, I mean, we have a good low on this, right? This is fine, I've talked about this before. That's why you already had the drawing. This is okay, but we didn't have it on the purple, which is the real trading hours. Sorry, I always get confused, regular trading hours. So, I mean, it doesn't have to go back below this because we do have the excess and everything. It's just it's not the best, because if it was purple, it would have been better. But it should be all right for now. But yeah, as you can see, all these ones with excess, typically they don't get to be taken out. Let's see here, we can check. This one was poor. We went once again to take it, and this one was finished, right? Once again, poor low, go back to take it, still poor low. I guess this one we never went back and got it. So we have, oh, we did actually, as you can see. So we left this poor low here, went back to get it, recovered it. And since then, this is the only poor low that we have left. So, you know, as I just showed you right here, typically you go and take this back, right? And eventually have the reversal. But I feel like we're not just gonna SFP this and reverse. If anything, we're gonna keep going down towards that 86 and then perhaps reverse. Ciao Fed, come fai a capire se c'è un minimo buono tramite TPO in base al tempo trascorso in quel low? Puoi spiegarmelo please? Yeah, basically he was asking how do I know if it's a good low or not, and it's basically what I just covered. Also we can look at the highs. For example, let's see. I'm gonna remove price action so that you understand better. So this low is okay. The only thing is that when we start having lows next to each other, sorry, highs or lows next to each other, so you see how here this is pretty much at the same height. If this prior one is not taken out, so right here for example, these become equal highs, and this is not a good high, right? So this should technically be taken out eventually. Whereas if, for example, we have them still close to each other, but the later price action takes it out and it is above this, then it's fine. Then it's a good low. I mean, it's a good high or low. It depends on what we're looking at. We can also look here, like all of these also, like on TPO, they look fine. Like this is fine, but they're just all so close to each other. Like, I think, for example, this is a bad low, sorry, bad high right here, only one TPO excess. But yeah, so let's see the most recent ones. Most recent one is okay. Bit close to each other. I mean, very close actually. So it would have been okay, I guess. I mean, not that much. Typically you want to see like 3 boxes. That's just 2. But I guess 2 can be okay. But this is the problem. You don't want to have highs that look like this. You want to have highs that look like this. So this should have been here. That would have been a good high. And I would have told you, okay, perhaps we don't need to go back to 96, 97. But that's not the case. But yeah, anyways, we also have poor highs here, which is what I was saying before, to go and take the liquidity before reversing. But it seems like for now we're rejecting already. But let's see. I mean, it's kind of a shit day today for Bitcoin. There's not much to do. It's kind of like a no trade zone, to be honest. And sometimes you're just gonna sit on your hands and do nothing. I mean, clearly we just keep respecting this triangle. So I don't know, maybe we just go back down and keep until we break. Which doesn't matter because, I mean, it does kind of matter because we don't have the short from the high in case we break down, but we do have the long in case we break up. Yeah, I'll take a look at Uber, but first let me take a look at Hinge, or sorry, Inge, not Hinge. Hinge is the dating app. Inge right here. All right, you're in a long trade. I mean, I don't know what your trigger was for the long trades. The only one I can see is right here. If you're trading this range, right? Let me take, I think I had a short on Hinge. Yeah, I did, which never got filled. I did have this first one, which would have done very well if you held it from 15 to 2. And then I was trying to get into another one at 18, but that never got filled. So we can delete this. But yeah, as I was saying, unless you took your long trade here, right? We had these lows right here taken out. Very simple fake out. And you can start trading this range. So unless you took your long trade here, I don't know where else you would have a long trade. Unless maybe, for example, you took it on this retest, which was, yeah, that could have been good, like something like this. But you should have taken profit here, for example, in this internal liquidity, which we SFP once again. So, I mean, this is not looking great, to be honest. I don't know exactly your entry and stuff. If you want to share in the chat, let me know. But I would definitely not be longing altcoins at the moment. I mean, look at this. There's no strength whatsoever. If anything, I would look for shorts on pretty much almost every altcoin. I don't understand why my camera keeps fucking me up. I don't know if it's my posture. Anyways, let's look at Uber. Thanks for this. Gotta go, but watch later for sure. What's up? You can talk, Cairo. You can talk if you wish.
Thought it was fun. Oh. Thanks a lot, man, but I'm out of here.
All right, Uber. Let's see Uber. Uber is in this clear range. Which would have offered a very nice long trade off of this low. Right here. We would have taken these lows right here. And you would have had your entry right here with the stop loss below, targeting the other side of the range. Of course, as always, you do have to take profit along the way. So I'm sure already a nice take profit would have hit right here. I actually got front run, but you could have also looked at the previous high right here, and that would have been your first take profit, for example. Also, if you take the volume range, take profit at the point of control. But yeah, that would have been the long trade. We can look for something else. Let's see. I mean, stocks I swing trade mostly. We can look for another short. I mean, sorry, for another long on Uber. Right here, if we consider this low, right? This one right here, which has not been taken yet. We still consider this as a range, which, as you can see, is pretty well respected, right? Lows, middle, middle, middle flipped. You can see the respect. The high, obviously. Once again, middle right here. So that's not a bad range. As I said, we have the lows, the anchor VWAP coming up, and we can look at some monthly levels. Monthly is very low at 72. I mean, not very low. It's actually pretty close by. Let's see. 15%. See the weeklies. This one's tapped. This one's already. Also, look at this. We have the weekly here, which is where we're bouncing off. So that was more confluence for that long trade. Obviously now it's tapped, so it doesn't really matter anymore. Let's see dailies. This was also a daily. Another daily down here. This one's tapped. We have another one here which we can look at. Okay. I mean, I already think around 72 is going to be a nice trade. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, so definitely this area. It's very interesting. Let's see. What about the lows? Yeah, this can take some time. Again, with the stock market like pushing and honestly expecting an all-time high, I don't know if we're gonna get that big retrace of 15%. As of now, no, but you never know in the market. You know, we could easily like lose 3-4% on the ES, which would bring us to our targets. But I would definitely be looking for two longs, I would say. One is gonna be here at this range low, and this is off of more of a reactionary, right? We need to see the type of reaction we have at the anchor VWAP. We need to see if we take the liquidity and close back above, and then you can have your long trade to trade it to the other side of the range. So something like this. Skip pattern validations. This would be a nice trade. If not, then I would look. Also, I don't really like the respect of this anchor VWAP, was not very respected, whereas this one, as you can see, clearly was way more respected. Once, twice, almost 3 times here. And yeah, and then you have this daily, monthly, value area high. If this takes some time, this is gonna move up as well. So it's probably, that would be April. I mean, we don't necessarily need to go all the way down to here. This is already like good enough confluence. I think also we would have a nice Fibonacci retracement right there. If we consider this low right here, yeah, that's very nice. Yeah, 100% I would look at this area. Anywhere between 74 to 70, I would take a long trade. But yeah, that's coming around April. To be honest, it might take until April. I mean, look how slow this was. This could easily like take a while to do this little move. By the time this happens, this has moved up. Also lining up with anchor. That would be really like an A+ setup towards March to April. If that happens, I mean, even if it doesn't, if it happens tomorrow, I'll take it. But something like this as well would be a very nice trade on Uber. If you lose this, I would expect for $60 to come next. Meanwhile, Bitcoin dropping. Very unfortunate that we didn't take the highs. Who knows? Maybe we take these lows right here. We could scalp this, by the way. I'm gonna check order flow and share with you. We did take the liquidity. Let's go check our little order flow. I've gotten better at switching screens, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed. So order flow, what is it saying? It's just reloading. Okay, there we go. We did have 2 million shorts on the downfall. Nothing crazy here. But if we do, where's my OBS? Right here. If we do close above, I'm gonna wait 3 more minutes. It's not looking likely. But if we do close above here, we can do a little scalp trade long. So let's see. This is basically what we want to see. And as of now, there's no trade to have. As you can see, we're completely losing the level. What we can check for is a Fibonacci retracement. As you know, these have been working very well lately. Let's see if this is coming as well. Nope. No, not much lining up. And I'm not gonna take a trade off of only that. Unless here we have something else. I mean, 90,000 here could be the next interesting point. The low of the triangle, point of control of this range. Oh no, sorry. And value area low. I don't know. Again, as I said, this is honestly no trade zone. It would have been nice to move up a little bit more. As I said, I would have shorted this if we had a move above these highs, which never came. But I guess this is good to come and take out later. So yeah, nothing to have on Bitcoin. I think hype missed me by very little. It indeed did. I had the alert right here. No, did it go off? Oh my god, that would have been an amazing short trade. Look at that. The one I was mentioning before. Guys, I think it actually did touch it. I just didn't notice. Let's see. I'm not trading anything, by the way. I'm just changing time. Okay, no, it never touched it. It went to fucking hell, it went to 82 cents. I just wanted a little bit higher. Whatever. That would have been a very, very nice short trade, but it's whatever. Look at that big drop. See? That's why you don't just blindly trade. Let's see how we react here. We can monitor order flow. What I don't like about this order flow is that it kind of glitches. And I gotta reload it every time. Anyways, meanwhile, I'll read your questions. Would you say it was still valid to long on the retest of the weekly or no? Sorry, what are you referring to here? Which graph? Bro, could you take a look at Neo? I saw last update, but it seems to be strong. Yeah, I'll take a look in a second. Okay, we got some shorts coming in. Again, we could scalp this. I mean, I do have some free money on this exchange right here, which are just for stop losses. And I get to keep the profit. So we could, technically, but I'm gonna wait for the panic to end. On Uber, Uber, the weekly. Yes, you could have absolutely traded the retest. I know what you're talking about. You're referring to this, the weekly that we had right here. And that would have absolutely been valid, right? So you hit it once, you have this nice run. I mean, the thing is, yes, you could have, and it would have worked out. For example, you would have had a long trade like this, right? And you still would have gotten at the high of 1 to 2.2, which would have been good. But of course, when you have the highs so close like this, that's not the best. But yeah, it's totally valid. You could have taken this. Ah, crap. Screen. My bad. Yeah, so basically he was referring to this weekly that we had right here on Uber. How it had a very nice reaction at first. And by the way, look at the 4 hours. On the 4 hours, you can see the complete respect of this level. Nice bounce from there of 12%. Now we're retesting once again. Look at the 4 hours. No candle closes below. Once again, showing the respect. And I was saying, yes, you could have traded this. I'm guessing there was probably also a 786 right here, or maybe an 882. 886, my bad. Yeah, perfectly respected. Again, not my favorite Fibonacci to trade, but would have been valid. And look at this massive dump on Bitcoin. Kind of sucks that I closed my long trade right here. I mean, my short trade right there. But let's see. Let's see if this gets respected. Once again, I'm gonna open order flow for you. Let's reload. And if we have a lot of shorts, I will take a scalp. No, there's no shorts. It's just longs closing, which also, I mean, is good. You know what? I'm gonna take a very small one. Let's go 1 Bitcoin. And I'm gonna put the stop loss right below. So either it stops me out for $100 or we make some money. Oh my God, bruv. $45 to open this. That's crazy. I should have gone limit order. But let's see. This is like catching a knife. And by the way, I wouldn't do this. Hold on. Screen. Once again. Come in. It's crazy how all the... Whenever I take a trade, I never show it. Like I've done this like 3-4 times and I never got it. Anyways, let's see if we caught the bottom. I'm already up 100. Too bad that I paid $45. But actually, not really an issue because I'm supposed to get this back. So we can see here what happens. For now, nice reaction, as you can see. And again, like someone, I mean, if I use the limit order, this would have been a nice scalp because I would have paid not much for freeze and I could have already closed it and made like $200, right? I mean, I could close now and take home 180 or whatever. And this is how you scalp pretty much. You just find these key levels and you scalp them live like this. And here, you know, you can like start trailing. I'm not gonna do this because I'm not trying to make $100 off of this. It's either we caught the bottom or we didn't, and we take the stop loss. But I could already like get out, for example. But to be honest, I don't think this is gonna hold. Yeah, indeed. Look at that big drop. It's gonna take this out. And ka-ching. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to show you that you can scalp like this. Like, as I was saying, you can buy here, get out there. As soon as you get that $100, $200, you know, that's still a 1-to-1 risk to reward. You risk 100 to make 100. I mean, actually it was 1-to-2. I risked 100 to make 200. And yeah, and you just keep doing that. Obviously you're gonna get stopped out a bunch, but you can also make some nice cash doing that. And then, for example, the next scalping level is gonna be here, etc., etc. It's just not my style of trading. I think it's very, very stressful. I don't want to be doing that. But yeah, anyways, that's $100. I don't care. And again, I had the free margin here. Yeah, big drop. Big drop. All right, we're gonna put an alert here, see what happens. And see if this triangle keeps getting respected. And we can monitor the order flow once we get to that level and see inside the candles what is happening. And for now, as you can see, it's just longs getting stopped out. So there's no shorts getting stuck, which was also another reason, for example, not to scalp that. But again, it's not like the typical trade I would take. I just wanted to show you how you can genuinely make money off of such small moves. Anyways, let me switch back to the graphs. Anyways, we're already here. Wow, look at that big drop. And again, for example, first touch of the level, you could have scalped this and taken super quickly. This is also why I think it's so stressful to scalp. Like, you need to be on the 1 minute, buying straight away, getting out now, for example. Like, nah, too much stuff. But see, like, let's see. And by the way, for scalping is one of these things where you can set limit orders. I mean, now this has moved down. Like if you, whatever this level we had before, right here, you could have set your limit here, gotten filled and gotten out already. For example, you paid nothing in fees and then you get out as soon as you get that little bounce that you want. And then, for example, you do it again here, then you do it again here or whatever. But anyway, seems like we're gonna go get those poor lows that I was speaking about. And yeah, but I would say either wait. Also let me manage this. I got out of Bitcoin also, by the way. Let's see. Storico posizioni. Closed out for $700 profit. So that is fine. I had the stop loss below these lows. But yeah, so let's see. Maybe I'll look for another long here. And I think I'll update you in the Discord because I'm gonna end the live now. But yeah, so either look for a scalp long here based on the reaction. As usual, what I tell you, best thing to do is to wait for these levels to be hit, do a little bit of ranging, wait for the first level to be taken out so that all the people who long now get stopped out, wait for the reclaim of the level, then go long. This increases your possibility of being profitable by much more. And yeah, look at this reaction. That would be nice. I mean, still on the 30 minutes, this looks fine. If this closes the 30 minutes above here, maybe I will take another long. So something like this. But I would rather see a little bit more of a move down. And this still would give us a 1-2-4. But yeah, you just need to wait sometimes and see what happens. So yeah, once again, I'm either gonna wait for this 90.2. If this fails, I'm gonna be looking at 86.3. Or again, for example, if we do hit this daily level again, take the liquidity down here, which are the poor lows. If we do this and then reclaim the triangle, we do have the long trade setup. So there's a couple of trades to have. And by the way, I am so pissed about hype because I know this shit died. Indeed, look at that. Would have been, this trade would have turned out something like this. No, it would have been here. Stop loss about those highs. Yeah, it would have been a crazy trade. Anyways, doesn't matter. We'll find more tomorrow. Neo. Right. My bad. I'll take a look. So, Neo. Again, as you can see, total weakness. And for those who don't know, I got out of Neo right here. I bought here, got out here. Yeah, we're just bouncing off of this weekly. I would still rather see lower. Hold on. I would still rather see lower on Neo. Unless we start changing market structure and this weekly was the move. But I mean, it's a weekly with the Fibonacci as well. Yeah, I mean, this could be the low. I mean, for now it has been a nice bounce. But again, unless you got the low, I wouldn't be longing now. What you could do is wait for this proper market structure. And then you can look, for example, if this is, let's say, where we put in the high, you can look to trade the retest. But it seems like the retest was already traded right here. Right? This was your opportunity once you have the bounce off of the weekly to enter here with the stop loss below here. But yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't trade it now. I still want to see my 4.5. And I would like us to see a move down here. I mean, actually, to be honest, looking back at this was pretty good for a trade. Yeah. Yeah, this was totally valid, to be honest. I missed it. I didn't have this analysis. This could have been a nice buy opportunity. But let's see Bitcoin, sorry to interrupt. Let's see what happens here. By the way, I think I forgot if these were the poor lows. Let me check. Poor lows at 89. No, so we still have a little bit more to go. I don't think it would make sense to get so close to these lows, which again are poor and need to be taken out, and bounce here. So that's why I wouldn't really long this unless there's a really nice setup. But damn, look at ETH. ETH is dying. I was even thinking actually of taking a short trade here off of this loss of value area high and retest. That would have been nice. But again, I typically like to see the liquidity being taken out. So it would have had to be something like this if I should have taken a short. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. But this was also on the 382. I remember because I was looking at this morning. Yeah, it was the 382. Very well respected too, as you can see. After a big move down, that's typically where you find the resistance again. So yeah, this would have been nice. And remember, on ETH, I do have a long trade lining up, which I gave in my last stream. And I will show you that now, once again. And it's here. I mean, it's a big area. I would like to see the move below 3,000. Even though these lows look good and I don't want to take them again. I mean, what I would do is probably go spot. I wouldn't go leverage. If you go leverage, you need to have a wide invalidation. Something like this. Which wouldn't offer the best risk to reward unless we go to my next area. I mean, this would, a 1 to 5. So yeah, I mean, this is totally possible. You can start buying, for example, you can have one order here. You can have your second order here, third order here. And then you either, I mean, you're going to have an average entry around 3,000. So it's going to look more like this. Technically gives you a better risk to reward as well. Yeah. This I would totally look at. But I would like to see that move down to below 3,000. I think that's not lining up nicely. Could we bounce before? Maybe. We are once again at the CC. But let's see, Bitcoin is having a little bit of a reaction off that triangle low. Very nice reaction actually. But again, as I said, I like to see the bounce and then the takeout. So I'm still not gonna long. But yeah, anyways, NEO, I'm still gonna wait for lower. Let's check order flow one last time. Yeah, the order flow doesn't look good. People longed here, 2.5 million longs. This is gonna come down again, I think. So yeah, not gonna take the long. Definitely not. But again, as I said before, you could have scalped this. This was the next scalp level. Would have had first reaction nice, second reaction nice. So there was some very small money to be made. But again, not my style. But yeah, Ethereum, gonna wait for below 3,000. I did sell some spot. I had told you. I can show you. Positions. Bitcoin, spot, Ethereum. I sold my spot at 3.4. I mean, not all my spot. I sold like 15%. That was pretty much the top. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, that was very good. And actually, by the way, this could have also been shorted. This is when I'm not like on top of my game, to be honest. When I'm not checking charts all the time, because I just have so much to do with the live streams and everything. But this would have been a very simple short trade on Ethereum. I mean, look at this. We put in the high, right here. Come back for it. SFP. Simplest fucking trade ever. You wait for the 30-minute close of the candle. You would have gotten yourself a very nice short trade. I don't know why I don't short Ethereum, to be honest. Like, this offers such nice short trades. I had one here. This would have been so nice. Once again, here would have been so nice. Very easy asset to short, to be honest. Also, this level, look at this. What was this? Range point of control. So, not a random pivot. Oh my god, guys. Fucking hell. Anyways, I need to stop. I think I'm gonna stop changing. This is ridiculous. I'm sorry, it's so awkward. I think I'm gonna start changing to order flow, because every time I change to order flow, I then forget to change back. But anyways, I was talking about this right here. There was a simple SFP, right? This on the 30-minute, as you can see, we grabbed the liquidity, wick, boom, and this final wick was on this point of control right here, off of this range, which I actually typically trade these. These are my favorite setups, by the way. When you have an untouched range like this, like a naked range it's called, and you have this naked old point of control, that's literally my favorite trade. And as you can see, we front run, we put in the range, we then have the big move up right into the point of control, close back below, literally easiest short trade. Hype is having a nice bounce. Weird. But yeah, also let's see, last thing, maybe the Ethereum to BTC. I'm gonna check in a moment. So Bitcoin having a nice reaction again. I just don't like the order flow. But let's see, we could take a long here. We'll see. I'll update you in the Discord if I do. Yesterday I asked you on the trading chat if it was the case to open a short. I didn't see it. I mean, I was looking at it, but then, you know, it's like, whatever, I'm already short on Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to have too many trades to manage, but I should just take them, to be honest. And I'm going to start doing that, because I'm missing so many, like, nice trades, to be honest. Also, like, on the altcoins, I haven't really been shorting altcoins ever, which I totally should. Like, for example, on Solana, I had a very simple short trade right here. I say these things on stream. I don't take them. Also, yesterday, for example, another very nice short trade that I called live was this, which had a massive fall. Super small invalidation. Would have been super nice. Now I was looking at this as a potential long. But yeah, I should definitely start taking these. I forgot what I was looking at. Oh, Ethereum. So yeah, this was the short trade. And as I was mentioning, this is going to be the area for the long. Right here. Obviously, once again, depends on the reaction. But this looks good. I mean, the trend on Ethereum looks fine. We've been moving up nicely. This would also line up, I think, very well with Bitcoin having a one more move down. So this would be 3%. And for example, if we go take out the lows on Bitcoin, that's 1%. If we go down, that would be 86%. No, sorry, 5%. So maybe that's when we could see a deeper drop, maybe to take out these lows. Either way, I like this. And again, I was also looking at this because we are currently at the 0.66. So let's see. This is definitely support for both Ethereum and Bitcoin, but again, I don't think this is gonna hold. I think we're gonna see lower. That doesn't mean that you just randomly take a short now, by the way. And then lastly, the Ethereum BTC. We did have a nice pump in these days, and that's why you saw some altcoins running. But I do still expect for another move down. So a little bit more of a crash on the altcoins, and then perhaps we can see reversal. Which once again, this would line up very nicely with that move down to 86.3. If this happens at 86.3, that would be very nice. And then we can start to really load up on Ethereum. Even though once again, if Bitcoin goes to, what's it called? To 86.3, I would expect for Ethereum probably to trade around 2.8. And we can see if there's some confluence there. We can check. And by the way, this would also be nice. So this whole area, again, I wouldn't go leverage. I would just load up on Ethereum, all like in this area pretty much. Spot, of course, spot saves you from getting stopped out and then reversing. You know, you can start buying, like let's say you have a, I don't know, 10K in your wallet and you want to allocate 2,000 total to Ethereum. You start buying here 200, then you start buying here 400. Then for example, you put another 400 here. You put another, maybe at this point you can put 600, and now we are at 1.6. And then for example, you can put your final 400 down here. And then of course, this is gonna be your invalidation, because if we take out these lows, I mean, this doesn't have to be invalid. Depends like what your objective is. If you wanna hold Ethereum for the next 3 years, then I think it's fine, because I do think Ethereum is gonna go back to 5,000 to 6,000 eventually. So that would be okay. To buy all this area. And also if it keeps dropping, I think it's a great buy to have Ethereum at 2.4 to 2.5. This is actually the level that I wanted to see. And I did buy 2.7, by the way, so right here, which I sold right here. But I want to add more. And again, this is going to be my area of interest. And if we keep dipping, for example, one leverage trade I would take would be the grab of liquidity here, onto the monthly, onto the anchor VWAP. This I would take with leverage. Instead, my long-term investments, well, not really long-term because it's still kind of like a swing, but this is more of a spot position to be in. Because you don't want to take care of all the lows, you don't want to like get wicked out, etc., etc. So I hope that's clear. And yeah, so interesting things lining up. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream here. And I will see you tomorrow. There's no market open, but maybe we can do some analysis on altcoins. That would be nice, maybe. And I want to see what happens if I move my camera here, because I don't like my view. Something like this is probably better. All right. Anyways, I will salute you now.